What an incredible second half for the Auburn Tigers.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Darrell Dapprich, Montgomery radio legend, joining us live from Neville Arena, where the Auburn Tigers rally back in the second half. We're down 8 at the half. They win 88-82, Darrell, and really what felt like the last 10 minutes was Keyshawn Hall free throw attempt after Keyshawn Hall free throw attempt, mixed in with some Kevin Overton big plays. But what a I kind of felt like a mentally, emotionally mature comeback for this basketball team.
This is a really, really big win, and it should not be understated at all. And it's made bigger by the fact that Auburn was down 8 at the half, and Texas could not miss. Zach, do you realize what Auburn had to shoot in the second half to win this game, by 6? I mean, I think they shot like 70% in the second half from the field. I really do.
68.4 from the floor, 66.7 from three.
To do that.
And 22 of 28 from the free throw line.
It took that to win the game. Now, Texas got a little bit cooler in the second half, but still ended up with good metrics as far as shooting the basketball. But look, they were down 8. Keyshawn Hall only had 7 points at halftime. Overton and Keyshawn carried this team on its back in the second half. This is one of the best shooting performances in a half I've ever seen in this arena.
I mean, even for the entire game, Auburn shot 52.4% from three.
They were at 18% with 8 minutes into the first half. 8 minutes into the first half, when I was looking around and there was empty seats, 2 things were making me very angry. 18% and too many orange seats. And they both filled up as we went on during the game.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, Kevin Overton, 5 of 7 from three. Keyshawn Hall, 3 of 6. And then, I mean, once again, Keyshawn Hall got to the free throw line 17 times. I mean, and it really felt like most of those were in the second half. And I think that's just kind of what we're starting to see with this team. Like we talked about how mentally and emotionally mature they seemed as far as being able to hold off that rally by Florida. This was the other side of that. This was, okay, they found themselves down. And every time you and I talked about this basketball game, and I talked about it with a bunch of people throughout the week, right? Worst case scenario for this team is you have this massive win in Gainesville, and then you waste it by letting Texas beat you in a game that you should absolutely win at home. And early on, that was kind of going through their mind of like, oh no, what happened? And the fact that they were able to bounce back, I think, says so much about the direction and the growth of this basketball team.
Absolutely. I think the St. John's game, if I'm correct, is the only game that Auburn was down and came back in. I think this is the second time that's happened as far as substantially, not lead changes back and forth, that kind of thing. But I mean, where they were down at the half and down most of the game. And look, you could just sense everything shift when Elijah Freeman got the offensive rebound on the missed free throw put back to put Auburn up 1. I watched Sean Miller's body language on the sideline, and he kind of did this, like shrugged his shoulders. I think at that point on, you could tell that Auburn had taken that game by the throat. And, oh, by the way, I didn't get to do let me do that real quick. All right.
The SEC may throw a flag on that.
Let them throw a flag. Come
for
get
folks
me, baby.
Listening on audio, Darrell did the horns down.
That's right.
Gesture. Yeah.
Yeah, because Swain likes to run that mouth a little bit, so this felt sweet.
Yeah. Oh,
but
well.
This may not be Auburn's best win of the year, but to this point, it might be the most important. And I don't want to sound like I'm over it. It's because of what we talked about over and over. You don't want to give back what you gained Saturday. And look at the next 4 games that Auburn has. We'll do that later. I know
we will.
We do our little exercise. But that's why this one was so important to me. But I think the way this team is playing and the confidence that it's gaining, and the mental toughness that it's starting to pick up, where now you can draw on this, Zach. And if you're down at halftime on the road or at home, Stephen can point to this and go, guys, Texas was shooting as good as a basketball team could possibly shoot in our own arena. We were down 8 and we won the game. You draw from that.
Yeah, and this is a Texas team that was feeling pretty good about itself. It whooped
Georgia
by like 20 or something. It was a lot.
Because, and I will say this too. Auburn is doing this without Tahad really playing to the level that we're used to or that he can. So if that happens, if he starts to get it going, how much more dangerous is this team going to become as they go towards, the backstretch here?
Yeah, Tahad is an interesting case right now because you want him to do what it takes to get back to what we saw last year. But there were times, and I talked about this live during the Barncast, but there are just some possessions where he's not going to pass it. He's going to dribble around and try to do the step back thing. And it's just, I don't know why that continues to happen.
There was a time in the game where I think Auburn was up 3, maybe 5, and he just rushed a shot, took a poor shot, and Stephen went absolutely ballistic. And they came into a timeout, and Tahad wanted to hear none of it, and his body language was bad. And Overton went over to him and said something to him. And he just kind of walked off, collected himself, and made a really nice defensive stand the next time down the floor, caused some ball pressure. And then I noticed after that, he was getting the ball and giving it right up.
That's true.
He was giving it right up, getting it right back. Now, look, a good point guard facilitates, and he realizes Hall was unstoppable. And that was Swain's problem. He got too unselfish late in that game and started giving the ball to 3 and 0 and trying to, facilitate when he was unstoppable. So found the right man, found the hot hand, couldn't stop Hall, and, just a big win. This is one of the bigger wins. It's one of those in hindsight, Zach, when the year's over, you'll look back and go, wow, that was important.
Right. Who was your player of the game? Let us know, chat. For the 1,200 of you that are hanging out with us on a Wednesday night, we appreciate it. We also need to look at other guys who stepped up, what it means, and also Auburn's record over the next 5 games. It's important. That's all coming up right here in this live edition of Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Kia Autosport of Columbus. We've talked about these guys and how much they care about you. They understand that this is an important purchase, and just buying a new vehicle isn't something that anyone should take lightly. They want to equip you with all the information. They want to give you the best deal, and they want to kind of educate you about everything in the process. Also, if you just mentioned, hey, I heard about you guys on Locked On Auburn, you get $500 off any new Kia purchase. That's insane. That's like multiple car payments. You're welcome on behalf of Kia Autosport Columbus. You can browse their full inventory at KiaAutosportColumbus.com or go see them in person right off of Whittlesey Boulevard in Columbus, Georgia. Just make sure you let them know that we sent you. Thank you to Kia Autosport Columbus for partnering with Locked On Auburn. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Rocket Money. When you talk about saving money, it's so easy to $5 here, $8 here. Darrell, you talk about the subscriptions. Rocket Money helps you craft the plan and bring all of this information into an easy-to-use dashboard so you know where your money's going, and that's important.
It is. I mean, you may not know a subscriptions are still out there, and I love the fact that to save time, let them cancel it. Press the button, and they cancel it for you. You don't have to pick up the phone and be on hold for 15 minutes.
Yep. So let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/lockedon. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. I think there's a strong argument for several different players of the game. The answer is Keyshawn Hall. But, man, did Overton have some moments. And the guy that I predicted to have a strong second half was Sway. He only finished with 7 points. But, man, it feels like his presence was super impactful when he was out there.
I'm taking Overton as my player of the game, and here's why.
I have no issue with that at all.
Overton got Auburn to the brink, got them tied with some big threes in the second half, and then Hall put them over the top. But who was the guy at the free throw line hitting the last 6 free throws of the game, in my opinion, icing it too. So cannot take anything away from Keyshawn Hall. That's an obvious one. But I think Overton got them back in it until Keyshawn got going.
Yep. I think that's a great perspective there. A quiet 10 for Elijah Freeman?
That's such a great point. It's a quiet 10 unless you're in the arena and there's the eyeball test. The stat sheet shows a quiet 10, but the eyeball test, and when he got his 10, was huge. It wasn't quiet. It was loud as can be. Again, that putback on the missed free throw. He hit a 3 to tie it. His 3 tied the ball game. He hit a little mid-range jumper to tie the ball game. He hit shots that just seemed to be big in the moment. So although it was 10, it was a big 10. It was a clanger.
Before we look ahead on the schedule, I mean, it certainly seems like 2 weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. I think this team figured something out. I don't know if it was all Steven. I don't know if it was gelling as a roster. I don't know if somebody in the locker room stepped up and said we should be better than this. I don't know what it is, but this team, like when you look at up to this point and then to about 2 weeks ago, it looks like a totally different basketball team.
I think Murphy getting healthier and overcoming mentally the fear of injury was big. I think Jovic figuring out was big. I think Steven shortening his bench was big. I do. I mean, sometimes there's addition by subtraction, right? And and they got back to their identity. I think they figured that, if we guard like we're capable of guarding, even if we don't shoot the ball particularly well. I mean, there's nothing you could do in the first half the way Texas was shooting the basketball. Zach, I was watching. They were running out at them. They were switching. They were doubling the ball. They were taking away the high post. They were doing everything they could, and Texas was hitting shot after shot.
I mean even the shorter stuff, like some of the floaters. There's a guy in his face, and it's just going in. They couldn't miss.
They were running some really nice sets in the second half. Texas was, and actually, ironically, had more open looks but didn't hit them. So Auburn did something defensively in the second half that left Texas a little more open, but they didn't hit the shots. The first half, they seemed to really be in them a little bit when they were shooting the 3. But whatever it did, it worked, because what Auburn was getting on those missed 3s were those long rebound runouts. And again, I talk about that over and over. This team in transition is very dangerous.
One of the worst called games I've ever seen.
Well, it's Courtney Green. Yes, I'm going to say his name again, Courtney Green, and he was the official that was here against Texas A&M. This crew should never be allowed in Neville Arena again unless they left something behind tonight. They have to come back and get it, because the technical foul they called on Overton in the first half was ridiculous. The kid did nothing. They let number 8 for Texas, the big foreign kid, throw elbow after elbow. He hit Jovic in the groin.
There was one with Tahad where Tahad's falling back and it's under his chin. I'm like, what are you doing? How are you letting that go?
They were overmatched tonight. And I'll say this, they were bad on both ends. I mean, if you go ask, I'm shocked Sean Miller didn't get teed up. He was close during a timeout. He was about to get teed up, and Courtney Green went over there and gave him grace and told him not to say another, where he should have just teed him up. He came out to mid-court. It was terrible, but they're just not – when the game is played with really high-level athletes and it's a fast pace and there's a lot of threes, and they just don't seem to be able to stay with the game.
It's too fast for them?
It's it's too fast for them.
Yeah,
they're overmatched, and he's overmatched looking at a monitor when getting a ball off of somebody's fingertips, and he's overmatched calling fouls. So Miller is probably in the post-game presser complaining about it too. And that's when I get it. People say, well, if it's a good officiated game, then both sides complain typically. But no, this was bad. Auburn won the game, and Texas has a right to be upset about the officiating too. So I'm not blaming officials. They're just not good, period.
All right, so I'm mentioning these finals because they're relevant in the next 5 games that Auburn will play. So Tennessee beat Georgia tonight by a point in overtime. Pretty important game when you talk about that log jam at the top of the SEC.
Was that in Knoxville, Zach, or was that in
It was in Athens.
Okay.
In Athens.
They had to go to overtime, huh?
Yep.
That's good for Auburn.
Few extra minutes they had to do. Sure.
A few extra minutes. Hey, at my age, a few extra minutes of fatigue, it matters, right?
Sure.
You got to rest.
Yeah. And then Mississippi State destroyed LSU 80-66. So, all right, so Auburn's next 5. They go to Tennessee. Obviously, I was talking to Eric Kane of Locked On Vols today. They hate Stephen Pearl. They hate him. So that's going to be awesome. The energy is going to be great.
I hate Prison Orange.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
I hate that. So
7:30 tip. Like, what else do you want? That's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast.
It's going to be great.
So all right, Auburn goes to Tennessee. They host Bama and their
with a week off.
Professional basketball players. What's up?
With a week off. They don't play that Wednesday, which is good. They get a whole week's
rest.
Oh,
that's right. Good.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm glad you pointed that out. Yeah. So no Tuesday or Wednesday game. So they host Alabama. They host Vandy the following midweek. And then they go to Arkansas. And then they go to Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 of the next 5 on the road. What do you have Auburn going?
3-2. I had them splitting the next 4, which that's why tonight was so stinking important, because if you split the next 4, you go into an easier part of your schedule at 7-5 in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
And 7-5 can get you to 11 wins with that schedule down the stretch. So it can make a difference between an 8 and a 5 seed, Zach. I'm serious. If you get 11 or 12 wins in the SEC, Auburn has a good chance at a 5 or 6 seed.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there's a lot in front of us, but I mean, this team's 5-3 right now. They were 1-3 at some point, right, in the SEC. 5 out of 6.
I'm sorry, Darrell. If they win Saturday night, though, I'm like, the level of confidence I will have in this team will multiply tenfold.
If they win Saturday night, then you should consider them a contender to win the regular season crown.
Correct.
Not the favorite, a contender. That's how much that swing.
I mean, I think it puts you in a conversation for the double bye in the SEC tournament.
Which is huge with a team that only plays 8 players. Because you know how many you got to win in the SEC tournament. You got to win 4 games in 5 days if you don't get that double bye. You get that double bye, you're only going to win 3. So, yeah, a team that only plays 8, that double bye is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yep. Any final thoughts from Neville tonight, Darrell?
Well, I will say this, too. At one point in the basketball game, in the second half, when Auburn cut it to 1, this place got as loud as its reputation, finally. It was extreme.
Are we back?
We're back. I want to put it out there.
No, we're back.
And my mic's back.
That's right. The new mic has been a hit for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's a winning streak now. You don't ever.
I mean, let's just raise the game. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with raising the game a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, incredible outing for the Auburn Tigers, 88-82, with a massive win over the Texas Longhorns. How can people check out everything you've got going on?
Wednesdays and Fridays, I'm with you on Locked On Auburn. We do lives, as everybody knows, and I'm so thankful for the over 1,300 people that were in here. What a great atmosphere to do this show. And then Sunday night, Barncasts, we go live, me, you, and Kyle. We'll have a lot to talk about.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. If you're tuned in on audio, please subscribe and leave us a review. Helps the show out a ton. And if you haven't already, please check out lockedonauburn.supercast.com. Get access to an ad-free feed as well as an exclusive Discord for everydayers. We appreciate you so much. Auburn beats Texas 88-82. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.